This 24-year-old Russian entrepreneur that you've probably never heard of generated $5 million in 9 months. And the crazy part about it is that his digital product was only available for purchase for 2 weeks out of those 9 months. And in this video, not only did I break down exactly step by step from beginning to end on how he did it, so you can do it for your own digital product or course business, but I actually take you behind the scenes of his business. And when I say that, I don't say it lightly. I actually got employees of his that gave me the insights of behind the scenes of what these guys actually did, all for the purpose of this video so that it's as authentic and valuable as possible. Not many people do this type of stuff, but for the sake of the video, I had to deliver. So if you stick with me for the next 30 odd minutes, you're going to be getting some insights into a $5 million empire, and hopefully you can implement this into your business. So without any further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so we're in the computer now, and before I go into the tactics, the strategy, the funnel, the whole process of how he launched this digital product and made the $5 million that we talked about in the beginning, I'm going to give you some quick context. I'm going to try to dash through this so that we can get into the meat and potatoes of the video. But yeah, this guy is David. This is who we're talking about. David Turu. He's a Russian entrepreneur, the 24-year-old cool guy. Now, in this two-part video, like I said, if you haven't watched part one, you can watch that in the description. Go watch that. You can watch part two. It's going to make more sense. But we're going to be doing a deep analysis of David's most impactful launches, a behind-the-scenes look at how he generated the $5 million across the 9 months, while only having his product available for 2 to 4 weeks out of those 9 months. Now, to preface, between those 9 months, he didn't sell anything. So in the ends of those 2 months, he did 2 launches, right? So 2 big events where he sold his product, right? His digital product, his course. And with those 2 launches and events alone, he was able to generate the $5 million across the 9 months, right? So yeah, pretty interesting stuff. And yeah, let's continue. Now, something else we're going to be looking at is his unique approach that he used that put the digital product world upside down and allowed him to completely dominate the market, and how he did it under harsh conditions in the Hispanic market with a very, very small audience. Now, to give you context, he did 1 launch before starting to do different launches and making more money. This was kind of like the proof of concept launch, like I said in the past video. And the past video, we were looking at this particular launch, by the way. You can go watch that inside of the channel. And then today we're going to be looking at this particular video, which generated $1.8 to $2.5 million. And disclaimer, a lot of the information in this video, not that much, but a lot of the info was provided by some ex-team members of David, and they will be remaining anonymous for the sake of their own privacy. But yeah, now context, David is Russian. He's not Spanish. I said Hispanic market. He was born in Russia, moved over to Spain as a teenager. So, his Spanish isn't even that good. So it just goes to show how good the strategy that goes into this launch works. And I've tested this strategy with clients of mine, and it works. So pay attention, because you could implement this type of strategy for your own digital product, whether you're doing a webinar, a launch, you're launching it for the first time, or maybe you're transitioning into a more launch-based funnel approach, which is something I talk about on this channel. But yeah, very interesting stuff that you could very much easily take from this video and just start implementing. He was selling a mid to high ticket digital program, so anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000, and he only sold through webinar events 9 months apart, while everyone else sold evergreen, and he outsold everyone. So yeah, gives you enough context. Now let's move on to the video. So this was part 1. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's a sick video. Today we're going to be looking at this one, right? So part 2 of this video, really, really good. Let's make myself shorter here, or smaller, and boom. Thumbnail, maybe, I don't know. Okay, now let's get into it. So with these videos and with making money with digital products and funnels and all of this stuff, typically there's 3 main things, right? Which is getting traffic, right? How you're going to get leads, right? So converting that traffic into actual leads, people that are interested. And then how are you going to convert those interested people in whatever it is you have to sell or yourself into customers? We're obviously going to start when it comes to getting traffic. So how did David get enough traffic to generate 1.8 to 2.5 million with this launch specifically? So he was running a combination of paid ads and organic. So David specifically sold his product, like I said, only in events. So nobody could buy anything otherwise. And at this point, people knew it. I'm going to be speaking in this video, assuming that you watched the first one, so this will make sense. If you haven't, again, go watch it. If you have, let's keep doing this. So yeah, with David, the first launch, from my understanding, he didn't have paid advertising, right? And he had a big strategy that got him 1 million views across podcasts in about a month and a half, 2 months, right? So that was really, really crazy, and that was able to work through his funnel. Now, this time around, his audience was a lot bigger. So if you saw the last video, his views were, kind of in the maybe 5 figures. At the beginning, it was like 14,000 views. Now he's getting like hundreds of thousands, 73K on average views. He's having a very stable audience right now. At this point, he has people that are there that are watching. So he did still collabs, not as much, right? But still collaborating with some of the biggest people in the Spanish market. And yeah, it was obviously translating indirectly into opt-in registrations. Now with the paid ads, same thing applies here, right? Like he was running a bunch of different ads that were channeling people into this opt-in page. Now, with this launch, I want to make it specific and I want to set the frame for the video. This was an event. This was a masterclass, a webinar, as a lot of people like to call it. I don't like the framing of webinar always because a lot of people will see webinar and be like, oh, they're going to try to sell me. So either I'm going to join with my guard up, being like, I'm going to take as much as I can and do it on my own. But when this guy positions it as an online event or as a masterclass, people are guard down, ready to learn, ready to hear. And when their guard is down and they hear something that sounds attractive, like a good offer, then they're more enticed to buy whatever it is that they're sold, right? So that's a very, very important thing that I need you guys to understand that you can implement, right? So how did he get traffic into this event? Now, what was he doing for this event? It was very interesting because he was doing a 30-day live challenge. So this is, I'm going to kind of explain here. So before he did the launch and actually, had the event, he didn't say, oh, I'm just going to do this masterclass event, join, and, I'm going to share how I'm going to make you guys money, right? It wasn't really like that. The way in which he did it was very unique, was very different. So for 30 days, he went on YouTube and started a YouTube channel from scratch, right? He was channeling people in from paid ads, from organic, Instagram Reels, collaborations with other people that were on YouTube, and it was all funneling in to this challenge registration opt-in, right? So people were going to register to watch this challenge where David spent, and here's the crazy part, he was going to spend 30 days in Amsterdam, right? He's not from Amsterdam. He doesn't know any Dutch. He was going to spend 30 days in Amsterdam and he was going to start with a cent, right? Like not even a euro, right? But like a cent. So he was going to convert that cent into $100,000 in 30 days. So this is a pretty crazy thing. And a lot of people obviously aren't going to think, oh, has to do with any sort of event or any sort of funnel or webinar. This crazy guy is just going to, attempt to make $100,000 in 30 days, traveling, alone, blah, 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 right? So this was kind of like what his angle was, right? Like, follow me for 30 days on YouTube or follow me for 30 days in general. If you want to see how I convert this cent into 100,000, register here. And you're going to look at the behind the scenes. So this was what he was doing, right? Running all these ads and channeling people into this opt-in registration. Obviously, opt-in registration, name, email, all that, basic information that you're getting. Now, this 30-day live challenge happened and it was really, really good, right? So it was, let me see, 244,000 views, right? And then obviously kind of slowed down. And on average, he was averaging 43,000, 73,000, 37,000, my bad. But yeah, he was averaging a decent amount of views, etc. So what was he doing in this live challenge, right? So I'm going to analyze this and show you guys what he did here, which obviously got him traffic through the paid ads to watch the 30-day live challenge and from his Instagram into the 30-day live challenge. So now, the challenge analysis. This was a traffic mechanism as well as a warm-up mechanism. For those of you who don't know what a warm-up is, you obviously want to make sure that the lead goes from cold lead which means I don't know who you are, I don't know what you sell, why are you on my For You page, or why are you in my vicinity, right? Get away from me, to I know you, I trust you, I like you, and I want to buy whatever it is you have to sell. So this was a traffic and a warm-up mechanism, and I'll explain how. So the context I already said, challenge consisted of, I already said this stuff, so no need to repeat it. He could not use his personal brand though, his money, etc. So people would assume, right, like this guy at this point was already famous. So he was like, hey, I'm not going to show my personal brand. I'm not going to tell people my results. I'm not going to do anything of that, right? I don't speak the language and I don't know anyone from Amsterdam. So yeah. Now, how did this story develop? What happened in this event or this, 30-day challenge? So he tried multiple things to make the money up, right? To go from the cent to the 100,000. And things worked, but not to the extent of making 100,000. Then he started to realize how he was going to make money by introducing his method. So it's like, guys, it's day 10. I don't know if I'm actually going to do this. I may have to bring out the big guns. What are the big guns? My method as to how to make money with Instagram story marketing, right? So he goes through the trials, the tribulations, he fails, obviously it's recorded, right? Like all of this stuff. And then he finally agrees with the client, he finds a person, and he performs his strategy to help his client make the money in only 2 weeks. So yeah, now the challenge was 100,000 and he falls short of the challenge by, he makes $73,000 in 2 weeks. Now, if you follow the last video, you're going to understand and you're going to start to see a pattern of these challenges, and they're so, so powerful, right? Now, obviously, this is my analysis of the actual launch, right? So I'm actually going to, one by one. Now, he failed the challenge on purpose, right? Again, this was genius. Why? Because if he crosses the 100,000, it's too realistic and it's too picture perfect. It's not relatable enough. But by falling short and still making $73,000, it makes it believable and attainable since he had so many obstacles, right? Like this is the biggest thing, guys. Like this part, like this is marketing. I love this stuff, right? And if you don't, then you need somebody who does in your team. But David, with this whole thing, he personified the objection. This is a concept that I want you guys to understand, and I'm going to make myself big here for a second. He personified the objection. This is something that you guys need to do with your own business. Why? Because people have objections, but the problem is you're too focused on telling them things to make them not have those objections instead of showing them. And David, with this challenge, he became the objection. Like the objection became him. Like him and the objection were one. And he was able to overcome them by doing this challenge live in front of people, right? So what happened, right? Like it was, I don't have money to start. I don't know anyone that I could help. I'm bad socially. I don't have the skill to monetize. I can't do this. Nah, this isn't real, right? But when David does this challenge and he makes $73,000 by being in a country where he doesn't know anybody, doesn't speak the language, is trying things and starting off from a cent, XYZ, right? He becomes those objections and he solves them, right? He became the objection, solved them, creates pre-sold leads by starting from a worse condition than the viewer. So the viewer watching this is probably going to be watching it and be like, okay, so I don't have to go to a different country that I don't know the language. I can stay in my own country and talk to people that I do know, right? So he gets himself into such a harsh condition of making money, and he gets out of it by using his method. So people now are like, oh, this guy, like, I can do it as well. So he sells by becoming the objection. This is like, if you're not getting it, if it's not clicking, this is genius. Like you should be either getting off your chair and like running laps around your room or something. I don't know. But yeah, now he created an emotional roller coaster. This is very, very big because in sales and in these types of events, emotions is huge. You need to make people go through this roller coaster of emotions, because if it's stagnant and it's very predictable, sales aren't really going to happen, right? A lot of the sales statistically in webinars, in events, happen in like a split second because the person is so amped up and they're like, F it, right? So he had lots of ups and downs. People relate to that and trust him a lot more, right? Because when you go through something with somebody, I don't know if you've ever been through a traumatic situation with a person, but when you go through that traumatic situation, there's a bond, right? So this thing happens to a different degree in this event. Now, he didn't announce how much he ended up making in the challenge. So this is something that you might have seen if I, accidentally, right? Because this is all condensed. But yeah, so he didn't announce how much he made. The last day of the challenge, nobody knew. So it was day 30, and it was like, okay, how much does this guy make? Did he get the 100,000? Okay, what now? Right? And he essentially funneled people into the event where he would not only share the amount that they made on the challenge, right? Like, guys, you followed me around for 30 days. If you want to see how much we ended up making, I'm hosting this event where I'm going to share, right? But not only am I going to share how much we made, I'm going to share how you can do it as well. So this was really, really powerful because he got like to the kind of weird example, but he kind of got to the climax and then kind of like paused it and was like, okay, guys, you're going to have to wait for like 2 weeks for this event, right? Now, he also, after 9 months, reopened his doors to the academy, which is the perfect excuse, right? So that's how he said it, right? It was like, number one, the event is going to be to show you how much we made. I'm also going to take advantage of the event and show you how you can do it. But lastly, I'm going to take advantage. I'm going to explain why I'm saying it with that emphasis. I'm going to take advantage of the event. And also, that's why I highlighted, after 9 months, reopen doors to my academy, right? It's the perfect excuse. Why? Because it's the guard down. People, when it's a webinar, it's expected that it's going to be a sell. But here, people are just joining because he's doing these things. And by the way, he's also selling spots to his academy, right? Which obviously he's funneling people into. And at this point, because of the structure of the challenge, people are that much more interested. Why? Because they spent so much time with David. Like, I'm going to go into that in a sec. But yeah, I remember the video at this point. So people spent hours with David. They got invested to him as a character, right? So he used this opportunity to sell the method, but sell himself. So remember last video, I'm going to do like if you haven't watched it, I didn't go in depth with this as much as I should have. This is huge. Like, you need to sell people on you as a personality, your method. Why are people going to buy, like, why are people buying you as a person? So with this challenge, 30 days, with the 30-minute vlog, you're spending a lot of time with a person in a month. So this is checked off. The method, how did he solve his problem? How did he make the $100,000 or get close? By his Instagram story marketing, right? His expertise. Who the hell who's not an expert, does that in 2 weeks, right? Nobody. And then obviously the product. So with this challenge, he sold people on those really, really important things, which were him as a person and his method, right? So this challenge happened. So this is how he got traffic mainly, okay? Now, he also did influencer collabs throughout the event. So in the last day, he did an event, or he did a collaboration of like, I spent, he has like the beard still because he didn't shave in 30 days, right? 250,000 views of people watching from 0 to 10,000 a month to show that it's not luck, right? And he did it live. It's not a bullshit thing where he's recording a VSL and it's like, skeptic, right? Like, no, it's real. And same with this, right? Like, in the event, he was able to bring a friend who was also kind of famous, and they got views. Obviously, we already spoke about this. Now we're going to be talking about and moving into swiftly how he created the leads from the viewers. Because here's the thing, right? This, at the end of the day, kind of still created leads from viewers, right? Because of the process in which they're going from, right? Like, they're going from, I don't know this guy, to spending 30 days with him. By the end of the 30 days, they're buyers, right? Because because of this, right? You can rewind and watch. Now, he did a lot of ads, right? So you can see, he did a lot of, ads during the whole thing. So he was running ads to funnel people into the challenge while the challenge was going on. So it was like, oh, if you haven't watched, I'm doing this crazy thing, follow along the journey, right? So this was being done across this whole thing. And it was, people opted into the challenge, right? Name, number, email, and it's automatic opted into the event sequences. So this is a good thing he does, which is he doesn't wait for permission. They're already entered into the sequence for the actual event, right? Once they opt in to watch the challenge. They obviously get daily emails sending people to YouTube every day. So this was something very interesting, right? I don't have the exact emails, but one thing I do know is that similarly to the last launch, David was using the emails to funnel people into his warm-up mechanism, which, if you remember last time, he was sending emails to people, sending them back to Instagram stories because the Instagram stories was his warm-up mechanism, right? Where he was mainly warming people up towards, the launch with this 7-day challenge. This time around, it was just a 30-day challenge, right? And he was funneling people into YouTube. Why does he do that rather than funnel people into some sort of registration or something else, right? Because before they hop on the webinar, on the masterclass, on the event, they need to be ready for that event. And this is going to solve all of those objections, like we were talking about before, on how he became the objection, how he personified the objection in the challenge. That's why it was so effective. This is something that you guys can start doing, right? You can start potentially running challenges and personifying the objections. How do you do this? You need to analyze your audience really, really well. Because if you analyze your audience well, you're going to know exactly what type of objections you're going to have, so that then you can, become those objections with yourself, with a student, with anybody, right? With a random person. You can get off the street and do a challenge where, hey, my method is so good that I'm going to take Johnny from Target and I'm going to make him into, I don't know, right? So yeah, now he was sending emails, then obviously sending people to the stories too. So behind the scenes look via the stories, fewer stories than typical. With the stories, it's very usual, with this guy at least, for him to make stories that were, story sequences, 15 stories a day, right? Not that common, but this guy, that's his strategy. Obviously, he's selling Instagram stories, as a method to make money. So yeah. And then each day had a 30 to 60-second summary of the day on the reels. So all those touch points, right? Still maintaining the guideline from last video. He had last time the podcasts, the emails, the reels, and the stories. The 4 different platforms, we're still maintaining the same thing here. So, and that's how he got, so many people to watch along. And if you can see, right, like by the end, 18K, 14K, 14K, like the same people were watching, right? And at the end of the day, the same people that were watching this ended up being the people that ended up hopping onto the webinar, right? Now, some very important things that I must, share before talking about, the event registration and, that funnel. So this was something very interesting that some of the ex-employees from David's team shared with me, which was this challenge worked well. Obviously, you make 1.8 to 2.5 million dollars, it worked well. But one thing that they found was that because of the thumbnail type, because of the challenge type, going from a cent to $100,000, doing a bunch of different crazy stuff for the day, and this is like Mr. Beast type stuff. So one thing that they found was that the traffic was not ideal. So this is one thing to learn and to catch for your own business, right? If you're trying to get as many people into the webinar as possible, a lot of the times it can work, right? If you want to make 1.8 to 2.5 million, you could try it. But one thing that they saw, which they were expecting a bit more money, crazy to say, was that this did not bring the ideal traffic that they were expecting because of the nature of this type of content. So it was very entertainment heavy, right? So it was not ideal when it comes to buyers. But, these are things that you live through and you experience when you do events, when you do launches. And one thing that I see with my clients and I see with people in general is if you do a launch, a big event, the first one is not going to be as big as the second one, and vice versa, right? Depending on how you run it, there's a life cycle to the offer that you're running through these events, but that's for a separate video. But yeah. Now, how is he funneling everything, right? So from the this YouTube video specifically, right, funneled everybody into this event registration. Same with these influencer collabs that he did, same with the emails, and same with all of these ads that started running the second that this YouTube video dropped. So for 2 weeks straight, he ran all of these ads, just funneling people into this event registration, talking about, in this event, I am going to, imagine the business model that requires no investment, no previous knowledge, no experience, and you don't have to show your face online. Now, why is he saying these specific things? This is pertaining to his audience. So it just so happened that for him, maybe it's the same for you, a lot of people want to make money without showing their face, right? Now, personal brand, a lot of people want to show their face and it's a different culture. But yeah, so, running these ads, different creatives, okay? So kind of the same angle, different creatives. Obviously, I'm not going to share the actual videos because, I don't, yeah, I don't know why I would share it if it's in Spanish, but yeah. So block the 10th of September because surely your life is going to change drastically. Yada yada yada. Now, event registration, right? Discover the 5 steps in my method that has generated me $10,000 plus, right? So people have watched the challenge on YouTube, so now they know what went down. So they know that he made more than $10,000, which is, I guess, what they want to make. Now, obviously, name, email, all the details, pretty simple page. Then it took them into a VSL where he spoke about the event. So selling them on the event, joining the event, why they needed to join, kind of going through the whole challenge in a bit of a summary form, and essentially just telling people to join this WhatsApp group. Again, same pattern. WhatsApp group was a huge converting mechanism when it comes to taking leads into webinar viewers, right? Again, the same reasons that I mentioned in the last video. Open rate on a WhatsApp group is a lot higher. It's a lot more familiar. People know WhatsApp. They have WhatsApp. If it's on their email, 15% of people are going to actually read it, if not like less. But yeah, so sending people to a WhatsApp group, and he was running a lot of ads in this particular event. Now, warm up. What happened between the 2 weeks from here till the masterclass event? So he posted on YouTube and took advantage of the fact that now he had a YouTube audience, which he didn't at the beginning of this. He had 0 viewers. Now he had, a lot of people that could potentially buy whatever it is he had to sell. There's a plane flying by. But yeah. So what he did is he warmed up his audience that much more. So he posted 3 strategic videos on YouTube. The first one was the truth of entrepreneurship that nobody says. My biggest mistake, buying a supercar was the worst decision of my life. And I made 5 million euros and now I'm lost. Okay. So yeah. Why did these videos work? Why were they strategic? And why is it 3? Because in this strategy, and the strategy that he has, the strategy that I'm using with my clients, and I suggest to anybody that's going to do some sort of webinar event, it's you need to structure your warm-up in phases. So this is the secret kind of sauce that I'm going to encapsulate in different videos as well, going through the launch process and the launch protocol that I've been able to have with all the different launches and analysis that I've done, etc. You have to divide the whole personality warm-up, expertise warm-up, and method warm-up into 3 separate ideas. Like I talked in the last video, they are individual variables in one equation, right? So you need to sell each one individually. Now, what does this one sell, right? Like this shows the real stuff, vulnerable. So essentially, this video is him showing and going in person with a lot of his students from his past edition of his academy and kind of doing a live coaching session, right? So why does this video work? Because it generates more trust if he shows people that haven't got results. Simultaneously, he's showing people who have generated a lot of results. And obviously this video shows him as a mentor and warms up his expertise. Now, to give you context on the video, the video goes over 4 students who've made money with his strategy, 4 students who have not made money with his strategy. And he's coaching them with the different questions that they have, right? It's kind of like a live session, and he's, going through the real stuff that he goes through as a mentor, as a coach, right? Now, why does this work? Because if he shows people who've not made money, it's the same principle that we talked about here, which is, the whole failing the challenge on purpose. Why? Because you don't want to seem idealistic. You don't want to seem too good to be true. And that's a real thing, right? People have that objection. This sounds too good to be true. Yeah, all of these testimonials is great. But what are you hiding? What are you not showing? So when he shows you up front, hey, there's some people that haven't got results, but we're still here. We're still trying to get them, right? But hey, these other guys have generated $300,000 combined. So it's like, okay, it creates that healthy balance of realism with the ideal scenario, right? With their dream situation. So yeah, that's pretty brilliant. And if you can figure out how to properly integrate that into your marketing, it's going to go a long way because in this day and age, everyone's just so focused on, I have the best testimonials in the industry, you know? So yeah. So this one, not that many views, but the people that did watch it, I'm sure were able to get a lot of objections handled. Then this one was a very good video, right? Authority by showing that he has a Lambo, right? Like obviously the context of the video is the worst decision of my life was buying a supercar, right? A Lambo. So why does this work? It's weird, right? It's kind of like anti what people do. People are like showing the car and saying like the best thing, you can drive this. It sucks to suck. I have a Lambo, you don't, right? That's what people typically do. But this guy kind of flipped the switch and he realized that for his specific audience, they don't really like the whole flashy, rolly, this, boom, I'm a G, right? Like they don't like that. So by flipping it and being like, hey, he probably really likes the car, but because he wants to, connect with the audience on a different level, he's like, I don't like this car. It screwed my life over, right? So what happens here? It's authority because he shows that he actually bought the Lambo. So somebody who bought a Lambo must be an authority because they have money, right? Like that's the reality. Um, and in this video, I think he already sold the car. So yeah, I think it was like a $300,000 spec. I don't know, but yeah. So that's that. Likability. People like when you fail. As crazy as that sounds, it's human nature. So people like when it's like, you know, he's not perfect. That's why when people go so high, they try to tear them down. And that's reality. You can see this with the biggest guys, Iman Gadzi, Andrew Tate, Michael Jordan, right? When Michael Jordan was at the pinnacle of his stuff, they tried to tear him down, saying that he had a gambling addiction, that he had unpaid bets, so that's why he had to leave the NBA, because that's what people do, and that's what a lot of these Western cultures do. They build you up to then tear you down. Same thing with Iman or Andrew Tate. They build them up and then they start spreading BS about things that they've done and this past thing and this other thing, and it's just you know so he himself is tearing himself down by being like, hey, this is the worst decision of my life. So people are like, oh, now he's not that far away, he's a bit still like attainable. It's a psychological thing that not a lot of people pick up on, but yeah. Then they like somebody like them, someone who is humble, because people associate people who are not making money and are going to invest to make money. You want to relate, so you don't want to be with the person that can't relate. That's why, and I'll probably make a video about this. That's why Iman started to kind of create different type of content that was more relatable, even though his lifestyle grew. His content had to change because if his content stayed the same, Netflix quality and Great Gatsby lifestyle, it was going to be too unattainable. So one had to suffer, and it was his content, right? Or the type of content or the ICP that he's targeting. So, those are some interesting cues. Now, the video creates connection to him as a person because he's sharing a story, etc. And then I'm lost, right? Like connect on more of a personal level, show that he has the side that no one else sees. So showing kind of like that vulnerability, right? Like with you as a personal brand, and if you're trying to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a month with your info product, which a lot of people can do, they just don't know how. You can't, like, this is a content principle, right? Like you have to show that vulnerability and that different side of you that not a lot of people are going to show. So yeah. Then he's talking about his path and method to make that money, right? Like warms people up on his method. So he's saying two contrarian things. He's like, making 5 million, but I'm lost, but I made the 5 million with this method, right? So he's still sharing a vulnerable story while at the same time the viewer is going to be like, yeah, 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 whatever, whatever. So you said you can make money with this strategy. You made 5 million and you're lost. Like people don't care how he feels. They care that he made a 5 million and they want to know how to get close, even if it means being lost. So like this just goes as well to like human psychology or nature, at least in this day and age, which is pretty sad. People are willing to do anything to make money. You can see this with like OF, or you can see this with anything. People are like listening to the story of a guy saying, I almost killed myself because I made too much money and I lost myself in the process and this, that, the other. And they're like, how did he make the money? You know, it's weird, but he's taking advantage of it. Whether he's actually lost or not, I can't guarantee, but you can assume whatever you want to. But that's how these videos worked. Then with the WhatsApp group, same thing as last time. Bunch of value, scarcity about the launch, sharing free PDF guides, right? So lead magnets within. So hey, the event is in a week, but in the meantime, read this, right? Or this free guide on how to get a client, or XYZ, right? Like good stuff. Value voice notes. So still, long voice notes, maybe not that long voice notes, but still, being communi- communicating, right? Product updates. So sharing, hey guys, one thing that we're going to be adding to the academy this year is this crazy thing, and I can share more on the event. Put it on your calendar, right? Behind the scenes, more hype for more hype for the event, showing case studies. Watch this YouTube video, watch that story, etc. Right? Um, Instagram stories, same thing. People watching the highlights, and then he was obviously, creating stories, right? And this whole like, um, you know, story, right? Like again, the 1.2 thing from last time, remember? If you watched it, if you haven't, go ahead and watch it. And yeah, so he's sharing stories of, some guy that was like a neighbor, and the neighbor saw his content and wanted to start his program. So he gave him one of the first spots before the event, right? Like, but this, what's the word that I'm looking for? The the way in which he's making the story and like all of this stuff that eventually you've seen like with Iman and these people, you know, um, was kind of started with this guy. So really cool stuff. Now, again, all sharing and sending people to this landing page. Again, same VSL and the WhatsApp group. Right now, this is one thing that was very interesting that some of the team members shared. This guy paid tens of thousands of dollars for a ManyChat system, right? Because of the sheer amount of volume that this guy was getting from ads and organic, it just had to be built. So having a robust ManyChat system and automations and having the right setters and people in place, because at the end of the day, you have so many touch points that you need some way to organize it, right? So this is an interesting thing. Couldn't give me too much insight into it, and obviously I wasn't going to ask and make the video 10 times longer. But anyways, now we get to the event. 2 weeks passed, and what's happening now? So how are people getting inside? Obviously, SMS, setters, ads, emails, WhatsApp group, IG stories, all of these things are taking people to this live masterclass. Now, similarly to last time, this is the structure of the live event and the masterclass. So before he opens and shows the offer, before he value stacks and does anything, right? By the way, before I do that, pretty interesting how this is a thing I picked up on. Really cool to have all of the testimonials and screenshots and numbers behind you when you have the webinar. Like people just see it behind, and it's like just for 2 hours straight watching somebody who looks like a normal person just made 15K. Right? Doesn't specify in how long or anything, but just interesting. Now, 300 euros. Last time it was 150. This time to reserve your spot, 300 euros, right? So he does this before he shows the offer. It's like, hey, before I even say anything, the people who trust me and who pay the reservation, you're going to get guaranteed access because later you're not going to get it. Remember last time, right? Like that's the framing. And this is something interesting that I did not say last video was people know that this guy is not going to not gonna BS around. With most people who do like 5 spots left, 10 spots left, or they do a webinar, it's like, hey, the offer's not gonna be here, but you're gonna do another webinar in 2 weeks or in a month. This guy is doing it like 9 months apart. So people know this is your chance. Okay. This is what I like to call a launch based offer because you only have it available via a launch or an event. And this is super powerful. Everybody is moving into launch based offers, and I'm kind of like the only one implementing it with clients from what I've seen. But this is super powerful. And this is a big reason why people don't even know the offer and they're willing to pay $300 to reserve their spot, right? So yeah, just a side tangent. So then $300, then obviously making sure, because this was something that happened last time, people paid 150 thinking that it was the price of the full thing. So there was a lot of refunds and bad stuff. So he's making sure that it's a reservation because spots are going to fly, right? So people pay without knowing how much the offer is, right? So people, are just paying the $300 and it's non-refundable, right? Non-refundable down payment, right? So yeah, and you even have to like pay again because you'll see. Okay, so then he launches a QR code, which now people have to pay to make sure they get a spot guaranteed, which for the rest of the webinar sets a pretty cool frame. And it's like, shit, what do I do now? Okay, so now he goes ahead and goes through the offer stack. This is a really cool way of showing your stack in an event. Now, he discloses the offer and asks how valuable it is. He's like, how valuable would you guys say that this is? And then people are saying in the description, in like the chat, $10,000, $20,000, $100,000, the typical, And then what he does is he just doubles the offer, and it's like, okay, whatever price you think, now I'm going to double the offer, and this is how much you're going to get, right? Like 18 modules instead of 9, 6 months access, you're going to get 12 months access, all this stuff, right? So yeah, that was pretty good because now mentally people are like, yo, I thought that it was 5K, but now it's twice as valuable, so it's going to be 10K. No, right? So yeah, then he kind of opened spots and was like, okay, now these are the steps. You have to pay $100 to reserve a call. So in a webinar, a lot of times people are going to do like a book a call at the end. But here, because of the amount of people that were interested, because of all of what we've spoken through the video, to have that book a call, you had to pay $100 for that call as an admission, right? So you had to find the time with the team, and you're going to have the option to join. The option, not the guarantee, because you didn't pay the $300 before, right? This is a cool frame. Why? Because when you show that, hey, the 300 people already paid the $300, it's like, oh my God, so it is true. Even if it's not true, you can say it because it's live. You can be like, guys, we hit the 300 people. Okay, is it live? Hit 300? 300. No more people can join. Like, these people have guaranteed spots. If you did not pay the 300, you're going to have to fight for your spot. And then it becomes like this Hunger Games mentality for people. And they're that much more invested into buying whatever it is you have to sell in a webinar. So really cool stuff there. Okay, so $100 per sales call, QR code, link, type form. The frame is crazy here because now people sold themselves to the closer, right? Because it's like, shit, I paid $100 for this. I might as well, So yeah, and then Calendly, having a pre-call video. This is part of the funnel as well. So the students of his past academy, it was like class of 2021, 2022, 2023. So the people from the previous class, they were the closers. So it was pretty easy for them to be like, oh yeah, why do you want to join? Because this is that and the other. Oh, but I don't know how to. Yeah, I was in your shoes as well. Just join, bro. Right? Like it's just that much better. So if you have people, maybe you have a sales offer, you can have prior students just be your closers and talk about their own experience in the program, right? Now, obviously, it's not going to be the case with everybody, but yeah, and he can do this because it's a one-time event. So as long as they're kind of trained for like a month or 2 months, they're going to be good enough. So yeah, close 5K. So that was the price of the offer. And that's how this guy made $1.8 to $2.5 million. So, pretty interesting funnel, pretty interesting strategy on how to launch a webinar. But yeah, guys, so we've been through the two webinars. Tell me what you think, because these two events, in my opinion, are pretty eye-opening to what can be done in the digital product space if you do the right things. And the biggest takeaways for me are being different, right? Like getting traffic through different means, collaborating with different people, being authentic, right? And again, the biggest thing to take away from all of this is this. Okay, so I'm gonna move myself for the last time. This is the strategy, right? And if you can structure it in the right way, it's done in phases. You talk about your personality. You sell yourself first. Once they buy you, you can then sell your method individually. Then you can sell your expertise within that method. And then you can kind of talk about your product, your course, your program, your coaching, whatever it is you have to sell. So tell me what you guys think in the comments. I think this is a very, very interesting thing. I hope that David sees this because I think this is really, really sick. And congratulations to everybody that was part of this. And now, if you want to do anything similar, you want to do a webinar, you want to do a launch, maybe you have a big audience and you're like, I want to make 5 million bucks in 9 months or even a million, right? And you want to implement these types of strategies, but tailored to what you are doing, then in the description is going to be a calendar or just a link where you can watch a video and check what we do for our clients and fill out an application. And if it's a good fit, we can have a call and talk about growing your business. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for the video. Let me know what else you want to see. I was also going to say, if you want me to break down, I have a breakdown, full breakdown of the scripts for these webinars, and these masterclasses. If you want it, just DM me the word webinar